have long stood for excellence. Names like Broyles, Holtz, McFadden, Jones, and Johnson. And when they call the Hogs, it is a rite of passage. And he takes this from inside the 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So Mississippi State's offense will get the football first. As we take a quick look at the impact players for today's game, what players did you guys look to for motivation to make an impact during your playing days, Jesse?
Well, it was the guys we relied on each and every week. We came into the season expecting these types of guys to be our biggest weapons, and every week those were the guys that had to deliver for us in order to have success.
And it's just fun to have those guys that are consistent. Like, they lead by example, then they start to learn their voice and lead the team. But every week, guys that you can count on, they punch the clock and they're hard workers.
This crowd going to try to make life miserable for these guys. Trying play action. Rushes on him. He's got it. And he was loose and out the gate and doesn't go down until he gets to the 48-yard line.
You know, this offense knew coming into the game they were going to get some opportunities to take shots down the field. They feel like they've got the guys on the perimeter to win one-on-one, and you saw it right there.
They'll line up right at the 48-yard line on 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. Grabbed in the middle, it's Mosley. Really good surge for this offense. They move the chains, and he's got it at the 34.
It's really hard when you get in those predictable situations. Defenses are sitting on the sticks. Receivers have to understand where that first down marker is. Heads up play, nose for the first down marker. Get in there and get it.
Wants to throw, it's Shapen. Unloads it left. It's in. Complete, and he's lucky to get that one back. Almost intercepted.
Great coverage, great break on the ball. Had a chance to really make a big play and maybe even take that thing back to the house. But you gotta secure the catch. We like to hit people more than we like to catch balls.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. After the incompletion, they go back up top. He's got it, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. And listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
Getting ready for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the extra point is good, and it's 7-0. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And the final 34 yards covered by that touchdown pass. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. He'll return it. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. So Arkansas's offense will take the field for the first time. And Jesse, they've got a quarterback that if he can get into a rhythm can certainly make plays for his team.
Here's the thing about him, too. He's not the most consistent guy, and he's not the most talented quarterback in the country, but when he's hot, he's really, really tough to stop, David. It's important they get this guy going early.
Yeah, and it's not just him. Like, the offense has to, around him, play well. They've got to protect him. Receivers have to make plays. The running game would be good to get going. So it's got to be a team effort because then he can really be at his best.
We've come to the end of the period, and Mississippi State is on top. Guys, let's have a look at the stats as we've played one period. Heading in the opposite directions now as we crank it up in the second. They'll run play action. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Once that ball was loose, offense didn't have a chance. Defenders everywhere. It's a turnover. And the quarterback just ran out of time there, and they were able to knock it free.
Quarterbacks have got to do a great job keeping two hands on the football, especially in passing situations like that, because you know defenders are swatting at the ball. Even if you can't see them, these guys, they're 6'5", 6'6", they've got long arms. They're trying to rip and tug away and get that ball out of your hands. The QB will learn from this play. He's got to do a better job with his fundamentals.
Fires into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs! Quick strike through the air for the score.
And I love the play call on offense there. It's a sudden change situation. You just got the turnover. You're now going to take a shot because you got the defense on their heels after they're back on the field quickly. Really nice play call.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point makes it 14-0. That's taking advantage of a golden opportunity set up with great field position, and they struck quickly for the touchdown. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. And he passes on the touchback. Here he comes. And the returner will be dragged down. They'll try to put something together, backed up a bit, starting at their own 13. Snags a quick pass on the left.
The thing I like about the slot receiver, he's really intentional in his route run. The quarterback always knows exactly where he's going to be on the field. They've got great chemistry together.
And the Razorbacks can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Looking downfield, it's Green. Makes the grab. Stopped at about the 25-yard line, but it'll be a first down. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Looking downfield on first down. Quarterback needs to make a better throw there. Incomplete.
This offense just has to find a way to find a rhythm here. They're playing at home, and they want this crowd to stay involved and be an asset in the game, but they need to start making plays. They can't keep throwing incompletions this early.
Last incompletion leaves them still sitting at their own 25 with 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Quickly out to the tight end. Timeout called here by the defense. It's the first one they've used this half.
So it's 3rd and long, and this quarterback right now has got to be expecting pressure. So you want to know where your hot routes are. You got to know where your best one-on-one matchup is. But understand this, we're still in the first half. If the defense gets you, tip of the cap, you can take a sack. Punting the football at this stage of the game is okay.
And I love when you understand when I'm supposed to put some RPMs on that football. You can tell he's thrown over the middle of the field. He knows he's got defenders there. I got to throw this thing in there quick, fast, in a hurry. Nice job by the quarterback.
The Razorbacks will snap it on 1st and 10. That's reeled in. It's Blake. The offense calls timeout. It's the 2nd one they've used this half.
My old coach said you'll never go broke taking a profit. Take what's there, take the positive yards, and never complain.
Back to throw, time running short in the half. And the defense gets home and makes a play at the 37-yard line. Offense calls a timeout here, critically important to make sure they have the right play called and everyone on the same page here. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Back to throw, it's Green. Caught over the middle, it's Jones. And they'll finally get him down after a terrific pickup.
And it's on 3rd downs like this. If you want to attack the middle of the field, you got to look for the tight end. Really nice route. great job looking that football in. You can tell this quarterback really has a lot of confidence when he's in the pocket looking for the big fella, and they're able to hook up there.
Got a man. Spins away from the defense. They stop him at the 42, but they get it across midfield, pick up 10 and the first down.
Really nice job on that play. Quarterback and receiver being on the same page. Quarterback not telegraphing the throw, and the receiver does a nice job finding the soft spot in the defense, just settling down and giving his quarterback a nice target to throw to.
Unloads to the wideout. He can't find his man, and the clock stops with 6 seconds left.
Yeah, and I love taking deep shots. I think it makes cornerbacks play honest, safeties play honest, and you could tell just missed a little bit deep on that shot. But listen, those are shots that we want to take because the risk is definitely worth the reward.
On second down, they'll try the field goal to get the points before halftime. And the try is no good. Guys, a missed field goal and nothing changes. Still a 14-point game.
Listen, he's a guy that makes 60-yarders in practice, so they give him that opportunity with his big leg. He misses it. The opponent didn't set up the return, so they're going to get the football back now. A pretty good field position. There's still a few ticks left on the clock. They've got a chance to steal some points here late in the half.
And after that short game, they'll head to the locker room for halftime. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Thanks, guys. A first half that saw a little bit of everything there in Fayetteville. And this linebacker has left his big old paw prints all over this first half. He's been clogging running lanes and forcing turnovers, and even when he's not doing something that shows up on the stat sheet, he's preventing that offense from doing so. A young man with all-American potential. With that said, let's send it back to the guys at Razorback Stadium.
Mississippi State will put a foot to it to crank up the second half. On the run from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. Snags it quickly on the left. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Nice job, defense. You always hear people talk about tackling the catch. You saw it right there. There was nowhere for that receiver to go once he had possession. As a result, no gain.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Catch in the middle. It's Jones. Brought down at the 28, but it's a 10-yard gain.
And that RPO play was run to perfection. The run fake forced and sucked the defense up, and a nice job on the route by the receiver, not telegraphing that he was breaking to the inside on the slant.
Offense has it at the 28 on first down. The running back has it. He's going to lose a yard on that one.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Now the play fake. Throws to the wideout. Complete to the left. There he goes. Slippery slide. Find his way and ran away from the crowd into the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas.
And that is just outstanding execution on that pass play. Great route by the receiver. Good timing on the throw by the QB. Receiver catches it in stride, turns on the jets, and is gone.
He'll try to tack on one more. And after the extra point, they've cut the lead in half, down 14-7. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. They capped that one off in style. A 74-yarder for the score. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. And the returner goes down. First play of this drive comes from the 14-yard line. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Fires one high and deep. Makes the catch down the right side. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. They just dialed up one big play. Let's see if they've got another one on 1st and 10 from the 35. Out of the gun, the inside give. He had to fight for a couple down to the 33. The defense calls the timeout, their second of the day, as they try to get their act together. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down. They'll give it to the back. Came through like a shot and knocked him down for a loss of 5. Quick timeout by the defense here, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. Now facing a 3rd and long. Looking to pass. It's Shapen. He hurls one deep down the left side. And that'll be incomplete. They certainly weren't afraid to take a shot there, and now it's 4th down.
You got to be careful if you're the quarterback there. 3rd down, you see a lot of exotic coverages by the defense. That time they played zone. He tried to force that football into a real tiny window. He's lucky that one wasn't picked off.
And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. This whole play is going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise.
And sometimes I just feel like 4th down, man, just go for it every time. Like, the field goal miss, make rate, and listen, kickers have improved the last couple of years, but you left some points off the scoreboard there.
First play of the drive comes from the 38. Looking to throw on 1st down. Quickly to the tight end. And as they get him to the ground, clock running, looks as if time will expire here in the 3rd. No question they wanted to get the ball to their playmakers, and both receivers have come up big through 3. When you're dealing with a deficit like this, it's all about somebody stepping up to make a play, and you might as well start here in the 4th quarter. Gonna swing it on 2nd down. Got his man quickly. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there.
You just get the feeling this defense is going to make it hard on them, right? They've got the lead, it's late, and they're going to try to tackle everybody inbounds. Offense is going to have to really work for this and be smart. You got to attack the sidelines. You got to throw 1st downs. You got to keep this thing moving vertically down the field.
Catch in the middle, it's Jones. He's got enough to move the chains, and they'll spot it at the 47. They flexed out that tight end a little bit, and the tight end's always open.
Always open, quarterback's best friend, and this guy's a problem, Reese. He's a matchup problem because he's too big for DBs to cover, and he's too fast for linebackers to cover. He's showing you his athleticism there.
Snagged in the middle, it's Jones. Ripping through the defense and getting it all the way down to the 24-yard line.
And you see tight end matchups all over the field all the time now. It used to just be in the red zone. Now you just find the big fella, you put him in the slot, try to give him the ball as much as possible because you know he can make big plays.
Wants to throw again. Punts it out of the air. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker.
And I think the defense doing a really good job of understanding this is late in the game. It matters. Taking away the sidelines, taking away the middle of the field, making him kind of check the football down, go through his progressions, and make that clock tick.
Grabbed over the middle. It's Blake. Now the connection takes it to the 11.
You got to give the O-line a lot of credit there because it gave the receiver time to work all the way across the field on the drag route. Against zone coverage, quarterback gets it to him, he's able to turn it up and get a 1st down.
Most important part of a clutch drive, piece together some 1st downs, get in position, and here they are on 1st and 10. Using the quick game. That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening.
And this offense, they got another positive game, but I think they're going to have to start pushing the ball down the field a little bit. Got to make some plays. That clock is not your friend. You got to speed up, maybe work the middle of the field a little bit, but make sure we get first downs, and the rest of the time work the sidelines.